Welcome to the May 21st Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting. I'm Gretchen Hanchett, Vice Chair of this committee. Let's start with roll call, please.
Mrs. Root, Mrs. Hanchett,
Here.
Mr. Barnes,
Present.
Mr. Curran,
Here.
Mr. Havey,
Here.
Mr. Healy,
Here.
Mr. Ricky,
Here.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales, and Mr. Harris. 7 present, 1 absent.
Next, I need approval of the April 16th minutes. May I have a motion?
Curran moves.
Havey will second.
Any comments, changes? All in favor? Okay, next, I would like to acknowledge the monthly reports we've received from Ashley Smith, Director of Economic Development. If there's any questions, please make sure you stop in and ask her. Craig Clark, Industrial Development Agency. Keir Durham, Director of Planning, has turned in his report, and Rita Solvik Lynch from Employment and Training has turned her report in. Thank you, you guys. At this time, I would like to have Keir step up to the podium, and he has an award announcement. Welcome.
Good afternoon. As you may recall, last month I came to the board and showed off the New York Planning Federation Award for Comprehensive Plan for the town of Belfast in cooperation with the Allegheny County Office of Planning. Last Wednesday, we were invited to attend a session in Buffalo, and at that time, the Western chapter of New York State, Upstate chapter, American Planning Association, gave us a presentation for the 2025 Outstanding Planning Award Director's Choice, Town of Belfast Comprehensive Plan, Allegheny County Department of Planning, and Town of Belfast. So, another win.
Congratulations.
This award, we talked to the gentleman afterward who presented, and he said that there were many comprehensive plans submitted. There was a regular comprehensive plan award that went to the city of Olean, and the silver award went to the city of Niagara Falls. They felt that it's hard to compare a place like Belfast to the city of Niagara Falls, and they had this choice award, the Director's Choice Award, which they don't generally give out. So I feel like it means even more because they don't normally do this. So, success. And I presented these to the town on Monday evening, both the New York Planning Federation and this award at that time.
Okay.
So that was great. We appreciate the recognition.
Congratulations. Congratulations to your team and all the work. Been through them before. It is not an easy task, and I think it's very important, especially for our small communities, to have these in place, so at least they have a map on the direction they're going. And we have quite a few of them now in the county, correct?
Comprehensive plans?
Yep.
Yes. But it's every 5 years they're supposed to be updating it, so this is a nonstop thing.
Yeah.
But this was Belfast's first one.
But I guess my point is, there's been quite a while that not many of them have all had them. And I
Correct.
think within the last few years, you and your team have made sure that that is
We
a
keep at
direction
it.
we're going at.
Absolutely.
So, thank you.
And that assists also with their receiving funding
Absolutely.
for the communities, also for all their towns, villages, fire departments, rescue squads, nonprofits, whatever the case may be.
That's absolutely true. It also gives them a roadmap for laws that they may need to update or improve or create, and just the general guidebook for their main streets and such.
All pluses.
Yep.
Thank you, Keir.
If you, I believe Megan is getting on next.
I will bring her up next.
I was going to just do a brief introduction, if that's okay with you.
Go right ahead.
So I was just going to give a little background. Megan's on the screen behind you. This program that she is working on was a brainchild of my office a couple of years ago in conjunction with Southern Tier West. We had this idea that there are holes in our fabric that perhaps somebody could come in and work with us in Allegheny County, Chautauqua County, Cattaraugus County, and move the needle a bit beyond some of the other programs we have. And so Southern Tier West applied to IEDC for this program. It's a 30-month program. And with that, it's really great that we were selected. We were one of just a few in the whole country. So this is a great program. She's with us for another year and change. So welcome to
you.
Megan.
Welcome, Megan. We're glad that you're able to join us and do an overview.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And thank you all for the last minute accommodations with the tech. Sorry, I'm currently getting over a bug, and so I wouldn't want to get anyone sick.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, especially before the good weather starts. Okay, so as here mentioned, I'm a part of the Economic Recovery Corps, which is a professional fellowship with the EDA and the International Economic Development Council. So they found out, especially after COVID, that oftentimes for distressed communities, it's not just about throwing funding at them, it's also about helping build capacity. So my fellowship focus at Southern Tier West is to provide place-based support for entrepreneurs, especially rural entrepreneurs in their area. And oftentimes that takes it. Sorry, are y'all hearing an echo on your end?
Yep.
Is the audio fine?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
I guess it's just on my end. So if there's a weird spacing, it's because I'm hearing an echo. Yeah, so it's about creating place-based entrepreneurial support for entrepreneurs in our footprint. So one of my primary focus is addressing the women entrepreneur gender gap in our area. So depending on the county, it's between 22 and 28%. Allegheny actually has the highest at 28%. So just to benchmark this, the national average is 42%. To further benchmark it, I worked on a West Virginia project last year where the state was designated the worst place for women to do business, and their women entrepreneur starting rate was at 35%. So clearly there's some systematic issues in our area. So I got funding through Springboard grant to address this issue on two fronts. The first front is the first one is actually listening to women in our area and see what kind of supports they need for their unique barriers. So for instance, there aren't any women-specific support in our ecosystem outside of a women fund, and that addresses women in Allegheny County to the best of my knowledge. So the first one is listen to existing women entrepreneurs through focus groups and informational interviews. I have a goal to listen to about 100 across the footprint, and I'm currently at 65. And then working at each county where we develop pilot programs and help with funding. The second is to build out a pipeline of women entrepreneurs. Like many areas in the country, you're experiencing range of youth. So how can we build on the incredible assets of our educational institution in our area and encourage the young women to stay and start businesses? And so oftentimes when I talk about this, I think sometimes people hear it as a woman-only issue. But if we got gender parity for entrepreneurship, that could be a 22% increase in businesses in our area, which would affect and benefit everyone in terms of our tax bases, filling out our main streets, to job creation. Oops, excuse me. So across the entire Southern Tier West footprint, it's working to address this women entrepreneur gender gap. Another thing we're working on at Southern Tier West is a resource navigation website. So oftentimes I'm hearing from entrepreneurs of all genders is that there often isn't a clear front door to get support. And we're actually a pretty resource-rich area. So this is coming out of twofold. One of my colleagues at Southern Tier West is developing a resource navigation website, but then there's also this incredible Be It Business Western New York website that Monroe and Erie County are a part of. And so we're part of conversations on what that would take to bring that to the Southern Tier West area. And then because it's place-based, oftentimes my efforts look very different in each county. So in Allegheny County, right now we're working on employee ownership as succession planning training with the Allegheny County Economic Development Team. With Cat County, that effort looks a little different, where they were recently awarded a $1 million grant over 4 years with the Ralph Wilson Foundation. And so that is a cross-sector team of different players across the counties. And this effort involves what a unifying vision of a healthy economic ecosystem looks like, and then executing against that. And then working with OBDC to create their own type of succession plan. And then in Chautauqua, those trainings are also unique to the area. One is a market analysis, helping Westfield Development Corporation do market analysis on the Main Street. And then one is working with Jamestown Renaissance Corporation in Jamestown, excuse me, to help them. We created this really great program where we're hiring a consultant to help Main Street retailers how to optimize their store layouts in order to increase sales. And then we're pairing that TA with an implementation grant. So as Kira mentioned, I've been here since February 2024. So time has flown by. So a couple of things that I also see as opportunities that I really want to explore more in my remainder here is how we can better utilize AI. So that takes a couple different dimensions. So the first one is looking at data analysis around AI. So as you all mentioned at the beginning, Allegheny County has amazing comprehensive plans. And then we have incredible comprehensive plans across our footprint too. And oftentimes at the EDD level, we aren't considering those enough when we're creating our sets or creating broader regional strategies. And also, I've been on the side of creating a comprehensive plan. I know and appreciate how much blood, sweat, and tear goes into that. And so we could definitely better inform that. Have that better inform our strategies at the regional level. And so how can we take potentially 90 comprehensive plans out of our 124 municipalities to get better insight, but also better make connections? And with that being said, better fostering communities of practice. So one of my big things my dad always said growing up is smart people learn from their mistakes and smarter people learn from the mistakes of their neighbors. And so oftentimes in our area, which is about 3 times the size of Rhode Island, we have unique communities working across stuff that are very similar and can't be learning together. And it's easier to do this work learning in community. So how can we better foster those connections at a regional level to encourage collaboration? Because oftentimes I think sometimes people take a competitive approach, but especially if we're working in different areas, we're not competing for the same resources. So again, how can we better foster communities of practice? And so one way that looked successful last year was I was talking to someone that was creating a young professional group in Allegheny County. And so through very informal conversations, it was like, Chautauqua County has incredible young professional groups. Would you like to get connected and learn from them? And then from there, it kind of spawned where then we had this incredible 1.5-hour meeting where it was young professional groups from Steuben and Monroe and Seneca Nation and Erie and Chautauqua and then Cattaraugus doesn't have one, but they sat around the table to learn more about it. And yeah, and it was just a really cool event where people got to learn from each other, but also create a referral network and then opportunities to work together in the future. So how can we scale that model into different areas? And then lastly, another opportunity that I'm looking at is succession planning through employee ownership. Excuse me. So on average, we have older entrepreneurs in our area. So for instance, in Allegheny County, almost 40% are 55 and older. So they're calling it the silver tsunami when that retirement waves hit. One, how can we have people, business owners retiring successfully with dignity? But two, how do we keep that wealth in community? And so something I've been exploring, especially at the regional level, is how can we, one, support succession planning, but oftentimes employee ownership, whether that's employee-owned trusts, ESOPs, co-ops, might be the way to go. Especially if I'm looking at like the median salaries in the areas. So like Allegheny County, the average man makes $38,000. The average woman makes $28,000. There might not be that wealth there as an individual to buy out a business, but you might be able to collectively own a business. And then I would be remiss if I didn't share this opportunity with y'all. My host site, Southern Tier West, I'm really sorry, y'all, is doing their 30th annual local government conference in Houghton. And it's June 5th, and I think there's registration stop. So yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with y'all today. Here's my contact information. If there's any way I can help out, or if you have any insights you would love to share, I would love to hear from you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Megan. You have gone. There you are. Thank you. That was very good. Anybody have any questions for Megan? Nope. And we'll be receiving this PowerPoint. Megan?
Yes, I shared it.
Oh, okay.
She did forward it to me, and I can forward it on.
Okay, thank you. All right, good. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for taking the time to do this work and to bring it to us.
Thank you.
All right. So, next on the agenda is action items. We have the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act budget modification, and I believe, and that is Employment and Training Center is requesting that the Board of Legislators approve a resolution for the transfer of funds within the following appropriation account. The reason for this MOE is to move money to allow a person to attend Leadership Allegheny. And that is moving 750, moving 750 and 500 for the total of 1,250. And I will highlight, that's a great program. Can I have a motion?
Havey will move that.
A second?
Wicked Swales will second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have a MOE accepting and the appropriation donations of funds from the Allegheny County Area Foundation. And it says Allegheny County Employment and Training is seeking a resolution to appropriate a donation of funds that have been awarded to help a student pay for tuition by the Allegheny Area County Foundation. And that amount is $1,475. May I have a motion?
Rick, you move.
Second?
Wicked Swales.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and Next on the agenda is good of order, or I'm going to add new business. I saw something come through that, Brenda, do you have something?
I do. Kier had forwarded a request to appoint Bruce Campbell of Houghton to the Comprehensive Plan Board as an at-large member for a 2-year term. And I apologize that that was not placed on the agenda. Do you want to hold that off for next month or take action today?
I believe that we could take action today to get it moving through.
Healy will move it.
A second? Any questions in regards to this? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I
Anything
apologize.
else for the good of the order?
Well, yes,
Legislator Healy?
I'd like to hear from Ashley Smith, if I might. Maybe she could highlight the little tour we took yesterday
Oh, yeah.
of one of my favorite communities, obviously Cuba, which I represent. We had the privilege, all 3 legislators from District 2 had the privilege of touring Cuba with the economic development team here, and the SBA, the Cuba Chamber of Commerce, and Cuba Village Town officials and business owners. So it was I really enjoyed it. And it didn't rain, so that's a plus.
Thank you. I think you did a great job explaining the segue of that. And so we were invited yesterday by the Small Business Administration of Western New York, which covers 14 counties in our area, to join in the recognition of both the village and the town of Cuba in what they call economic gardening. And really that is the recognition of grassroots local entrepreneurships that start up and just their success and their contribution to not only the community but the local economy. It stemmed from, if you think back to the fall, the SBA released their business nominations for a couple of different options, veteran-owned, women-owned, Business of the Year, things like that. In that 14-county region, Allegheny County received the most nominations of any of those counties. Sadly, none of them went forward to win, but the SBA was so just enthralled at the response from the community for those local businesses, and so they wanted to show just their recognition in that. And so it's a huge applause for the town and the village of Cuba. We were able to visit 5 businesses yesterday. Sadly, 2 were closed and we couldn't go in, but we definitely snapped some pictures in front of those buildings. And so it was a great opportunity to just listen to these local business owners on how they got started, some of their struggles along the way, why they chose Cuba as their community of choice, and just, why they continue to strive to make it successful here in Allegheny County. So overall, I felt it was very rewarding. We were honored to be invited.
It was a great job, and I think the networking with the SBA and getting her down here to go through it and listen to it, I think she was
Yes.
pretty impressed. So it was a great job. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, since we spent quite a bit of time, and since we did it all on foot, we got some exercise in also, and quite a history lesson on local history
Absolutely.
of the Cuba community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley. Anything else for the good of the order? Okay, a motion to adjourn?
Rick, you move.
Second?